Yo guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle and welcome to day 6 of training chess and welcome Mr. Caius Yunus to the stream. And yeah, I am leaving you on red because I am actually training chess instead of just talking and chatting about training chess and never actually training chess. So I hope you will take this as an incentive to actually train some chess yourself. And yeah, actually, speaking of training chess like an absolutely insane person, I have a coach to catch tomorrow morning, and I should really be sleeping and packing, but instead, I want to train. I want to train because we have a schedule, and what is the point of a schedule if we're not going to train? So yeah, today what I wanted to do was have a look at some Polugaevsky's chess games. And why Polugaevsky? Like, why? Who even is Polugaevsky? So, what I recently read and heard was that Polugaevsky was one of the top players of his time. And what was unique about him was that he absolutely worked his ass off for chess. And he trained like literally like 16 hours a day. Like he was a full-time chess professional, trained like super hard. And what he did a lot of training in was basically just his understanding of the game. And what was pretty amazing about his game was just his analysis. Like the amount of understanding he'd have through his like analysis of his games and like his understanding just basically led him to become a stronger and stronger and stronger player. So he actually kind of stuck to a quite limited repertoire, and that was actually one of his biggest criticisms from Kasparov. Kasparov said there were basically two reasons why Polugaevsky didn't make it to the top. One was the fact that his repertoire was too narrow. So he never like properly studied like the Roy Lopez. He basically stuck to d4, knight f3, c4. Never really played e4. And with black he always played Sicilian. Never really played anything else. So yeah, this is quite interesting. And then the second aspect was that he basically was a bit of an overthinker. And that led to problems in his actual game because, overthinking and analysis is all good, but overthinking an actual game is a problem, right? So these were his two shortcomings, and that's why he only came top 5 in the world as opposed to like number 1. But what that means is we can learn a lot from him and his analysis by taking a look at his games, especially like the kind of opening ideas. At least that's why I did. So today, I don't know if I'm going to train for the full 49 minutes. Like, I actually have to go to sleep and pack for tomorrow. But I've had a very busy day, so I this is like the only chance I've had all day. So yeah, Caius, you better start training and sort yourself out. DC Fusion, hope your streams have gone well. I apologize, I haven't been able to tune in at all to your streams, but I appreciate the support, man. And yeah, thanks for the good stream wishes. So yeah, let's take a look. So I'm gonna go to this. I haven't made an overlay for ChessBase yet, but yeah, I've got 9 Polugaevsky games in the Benoni, and actually with the black pieces. Polugaevsky never played d4, d5 with black. He only ever played d4, knight f6. So always playing this knight f6. And yeah, like he dabbled with some different ways to play. I think some Nimzos, some Queen's Indian, but also Benoni. So we've got 9 games here. I thought we'd just take a look at each of them and see if we learn anything new. Welcome, Speedy Bullets. I assume this is Safsara, given his recent bullet addiction. But yeah, glad you can join. Hope you're doing well. What's up? So yeah, let's have a look one by one. So is this overlay going to be fine? It looks a little bit clapped, but you know what? It'll do. So let's have a look. So e4, g6. So for the record nowadays, Oh no, I would play g6 as well, always g6. And then at this moment, basically whatever white does, you've got some different ideas, right? Like if they play knight f3, then it's best to play a6, provoke a4, and then play bishop g4 to trade a minor piece. And in the Benoni, you've always got to be careful not to just play bishop g4 immediately, because this just loses to queen a4 check, and then when you block, then they can move the knight. And then your bishop is getting stranded on g4, and this is a big problem. So whenever you play this bishop g4 idea, you have to time it correctly with a6, a4 first. So yeah, depending on what white does, you've got some different responses, and f4 is one of the few times where you actually play bishop g7. Oh, okay, and we get e5 straight away. So what would I do here? It's been so long since I've studied this line. I believe the idea is we want to take and maybe play queen e7. Also, Caius, are you playing Foncia online or not? Did you reply to my messages about that? Maybe if you reply to my messages about that, then I'll check your messages. But yeah, let's actually think here. I've analyzed this position in the past, but what to do? I have a feeling it was takes queen e7, and then basically just pile on pressure with like knight d7. e5 it can't be any good. So let's actually have a look. I'm not gonna default Kubica here. I'm gonna use Lichess because yeah, basically Chessbase using Engine plus Streamlabs will just crash my computer. So let's have a look at this. It's good to revise these lines. It's been a long time. Also, from news from me, I'll be playing in a team tournament in a couple weeks, and that's very, very hype. There's some nice prize money, yeah, and should be able to put a good team together. So that's going to be quite fun. That'll be like a rapid event. So all of these kind of sidelines in a Benoni, it's always good to have a little refresher every now and again. So let's have a look what's being played. So knight fd7 I saw was what Polugaevsky played, and appears to be the best move. So this is the amazing thing about Polugaevsky. Like the amount he studied, he pretty much knew like Engine's top moves just from like really just looking super deeply. It's just really impressive. So we're gonna check out Polugaevsky's move in just a second. You know what? Let's actually make a proper study about this. Like maybe we want to go back to this someday. So let me make a new study. Polugaevsky's Benoni. Let's have a look. Yeah, so let's just see this. Okay, so d4, knight f6, c4, c5, d5, e6. Knight c3 takes, e4, g6, f4. Bishop g7, e5. So Polugaevsky actually played knight fd7 here. The line I seem to remember was takes and play queen e7. Ha! I'm already lost here. Bishop b5 check or knight f3. Interesting. So what's the problem with my original plan of playing knight d7 here? Wait, what? Oh, I don't even understand the notation. I thought this was d6. Oh dear. So d6 I'm just dead lost. That's horrendous. Yeah, and it makes complete sense. Oh my god. Okay, and this is why analyzing from time now and then is a really good idea. And I mean, the other great thing about like studying like this is that you get a lot of emotional memory to such a moment, right? Like, I'm gonna remember that Polugaevsky played knight fd7. I don't know why, but I will remember this because I've got like attachment to the whole scenario. And I'm gonna find this knight fd7. So this is what Polugaevsky plays, and let's see how the game went. So let's have a look. So knight fd7, knight b5, which looks like the most reasonable move that looks like black is almost lost. So what on earth did Polugaevsky have up his sleeve? So you take on e5, knight d6, king e7. Knight c8, queen c8, d6. Oh, this looks really dodgy, but at the same time, we are a pawn up, right? Knight c6, just holding on to it. Knight b6, hitting the bishop. Are we going to play c4 as well? No, we're going to play e4. I guess c4 is always on the cards, though. Yeah, we get to c4 now. Interesting. What a crazy game, though. I wonder how much of this is actually book. You know what, okay. You know what I'll do, actually? I'll give you guys a better viewer's experience. I wasn't going to, but I'm feeling generous. So let's do this. I will then change this to this, and then hopefully this will look a bit cleaner. You're not going to be able to see the engine. That's annoying. Maybe this way? No, that's going to see the moves, but not the engine. Okay, never mind, guys. I was trying to do you guys a solid, but it's not going to work. My screen, my face is going to cover the engine. I guess I can put myself down here. Let me do that. Okay, let's see if that's any better. Maybe you can see the whole board and see the engine as well, and then we'll just go through these. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, so incredibly, Knight d7, Polugaevsky's move is top move. I guess Knight b5 feels like the only critical move. I mean, like, Knight f3, like, surely this is just going to be good for us. Yeah, I can't believe, I feel like everyone, like, I'm going to make a bet that, like, 80% of players are playing Knight b5 here. No way do people don't play Knight b5. Okay, 50%. Oh, and Knight e4 is the other 40%. So 95% are playing these two moves, which basically lead to the same thing. I think I remember looking at this a long time ago. Yeah, it's just a transposition. This is the only move. Yeah, so either this way... okay, so that's so interesting. So this is basically just a transposition. And let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. I mean, this is such a sharp line. Like, we may as well learn it, because clearly my previous knowledge of this position was complete garbage, right? I just completely got a lost position. So maybe it's worth actually just remembering this. So Knight f7, Knight b5 or Knight e4 is a critical line. And let's see how it goes. Let's see if we can actually play this. So d5, Knight d6, King e7 to get tempo on the knight. And here, they have to take on c8. Now, I do have a bit of a fear, like, can they play anything else? But I guess other moves don't make too much sense. So if a move like Knight c4, now black has time to manual castle. So now we can just play rook e8 and get away. Also, I have a question for Caius. So if you I saw a glimpse of your messages. Maybe I need to check your messages properly. But if you're thinking of getting a coach, do you plan on paying them? Because if you can't pay them, then why do you expect them to give you, like, lots of legit advice? I mean, maybe you could, like, spam a bunch of... To be honest, what no, that's not gonna work. I was gonna say, if you beat, like, a titled player and then you message them, I feel like their ego will be hurt too much, and then they're not gonna help you anyway. So that's my concern. That's why, like, I feel like Davarin, like, his book on how to train chess on your own, is the way to go, because it's like if you read chapter 4, I think chapter 4 it was, he gives training plans for different level of players, and if you read like the training plans for, like, the like promising junior of 2300 level, that should give you the insight. Like, I think you can look into that. But okay, let me check out the other comments. Apologies, guys, for the slow responses. You copied yeah, exactly, Simon. You read my mind. That's exactly what I'm doing. So Sarah quit Lichess. I don't really recommend that. That's probably not a good idea. And your speedy bullets, yeah, I'm not surprised. For Chess God, could you play a game with me? Unfortunately, we're studying, my dude. So no games today. Yeah, exactly. Who expects having a coach without paying them? It's wild. It's wild. The audacity of these kids. thinking we've got all the time in the world to just help them out, which I still do, because I'm a sucker. But okay, isn't e5 a mistake in the opening for white? Yes, it's not. Well, mistake is very harsh because I mean, it's equal, and I feel like playing such a move that's equal, that's so dynamic. I mean, you're going to catch a lot of players out. Like, you know, I blundered when I tried to attempt this myself. I suggested this, and Queen e7, and I'm already worse here, right? So I forgot what to do. And today we're taking a look at Polugaevsky. And if you want to learn more about Polugaevsky, feel free to rewatch the start of the stream because I give a bit of background to the player, which I think is quite interesting. But there's good reason to study him. So let's keep looking at this very interesting line of knight b5. So d5, knight d6, king e7, and here the only legit move is knight c8, because if any other move, we have time to manually castle, right? Like knight b5, we have time to castle as well. So I think basically this is the only critical move. They take the bishop, we have to take back. Now d6 is what was played in the game of Polugaevsky, which interesting. Yeah, it's too old of a game to be included on the Leech's database. But it looks like knight f3 is the main line. So let's look at both. Wait, Sapsara, he said Leech has banned you? There's no way. Did they actually? That's actually shocking. That two of my Leicestershire juniors both get banned from Leechess. Like, I actually have no words. I have no words. Yeah, so sorry. Get Caius as a coach. I think it'd be a vibe. But yeah. So let's try and understand this. So let's actually see how well did Polugaevsky play this. Looks like he played it like an absolute beast. And this, oh, he didn't. He played knight c6 here, which seems completely reasonable, to be honest. e4 is even more critical. e4 is almost like taking over. Let's try and understand this. Knight g5, knight e5 makes... Oh, why would knight e5 make any sense? Let's see knight e5. Can we not just take this? Can we not take this as well? Oh, taking this is bad? Oh, this is a sure way to lose. I mean, these lines are getting so complicated. So let's actually see if Polugaevsky's line just kills the game. Maybe this is just easier. Like, knight e5... Maybe I don't want this. Don't want these complications. So let's see how Polugaevsky played. So bishop c4, knight b6, bishop b3, e4, knight e5, takes once, and c4. To be honest, what a guy! What an absolute legend of a player to play all this. And then he took it. They castled. Rook d8. Took it as well. Black is up 2 pawns and just completely killing it. And f5, GG. Polugaevsky, what a legend! What a legend! What a first game we're witnessing here. So he trades off everything. Oh, he doesn't find bishop d4. I guess it's not necessary. Oh, that's a cute move, but I guess doesn't do too much. I mean, that basically trades pieces, and black's got this huge pass pawn. Yeah, looks like a very clean game. Nice, GG. What a legend. What a legend. Okay, so I think like let's make a note of this. Objectively best, but tricky. Let's follow the wise footsteps of P-Man. That's no, P-Man is such a bad. What would we call it? Of Polu. Of Polu. Polu will do. Polu will do. Okay. You know what? We'll give him capital letters to give him the respect he deserves. So, yeah. So I think this is the easier way to play. The resulting play is just class. I honestly think it's just Really, really, really nice. So I think the last thing to check with this line, because basically knight to e4 and knight b5 are basically the same. We take, they give us check, they take on c8, they give d6, king f8, and knight f3 is the old main line. Yeah, with d6 here, knight f3 is the new one. So I guess we can't play knight c6 now because the d6 pawn hasn't been played. But here we do have time to castle. And I really like the mentality of this. Rook e8. That looks great to me. And okay, looks like f5 and takes are being played, but mostly people are playing this. We take back. I would always take back. Bishop b5. Interesting. Knight d7, the most natural move. Oh, and knight e5, and the final move to know is this king f8. Now, for the record, I want to find out why as well. Why in this position? I can appreciate king f8 with the pin is just going to be cleaner, but why is this actually worse for us? d6, king f8, why is this worse? Castles. And somehow we're in trouble here. So in this position, if they castle... we can take with the rook. We don't have to take with the bishop. Bishop would be a transposition. Rook takes is just fine. And apparently this position still continues. There's bishop f4. And I want something simple here. If we can get something simple in this position, then we're solid. But if the theory continues here, then I'm not happy. So I want something that ends here. Maybe I can actually remember all this if the theory ends here. But if it goes any further, then I think I'm gonna miss details, because it's a very forcing line pretty much up to here. And we should also spend a second to evaluate what's going on as well. I kind of like this rook f5. It's really interesting. Like it kind of provokes this idea to make this structure. But what do we actually think about this? This has been played once. Oh, Eric LeBron has played this? That's another favorite player of mine. I love Eric LeBron. He's played some such sick Benoni games. But yeah, interesting position. So what can we say? We have a pawn up. We're playing against bishop pair. We do have an anchor of a square on d4 for our bishop, potentially, which could be very useful given that maybe they'd want to try and promote this pawn. Our king is a little bit weaker, but it's actually that weak. This is actually something I learned from Jan Marcus's book, Under the Surface, that when you have like really weak pawn structures, this is more of a problem when you're dealing with knights. And the fact that white doesn't have any knights and they only have the bishops, it almost feels like, yeah, we're doing all right here. Now I've just noticed, wait, why is it like that? Why can we not see the time? Okay, this should... Oh, the countdown was turned off. Okay, let me put that back on. Yeah, I need to know how much longer I need to train. This kind of feels alright. Yeah, back in 1980, exactly. And the Polugaevsky games we're studying, I think they're even further back. It's 1963. Can you imagine 1963 and the guy plays like proper engine? He makes one inaccuracy, which is at this moment he doesn't play e4, which is just such a riskier move, and just plays knight c6, and the rest of the game is just engine perfect. It's like absolutely insane. Bro's in a time machine. It's brought back Stockfish. Like, it's wild. Okay, let's see how much of that we remember. Let's see if we can remember it. So memory test 1. Let's see if we can remember all of this. I reckon we can. So it starts off with a normal Benoni. It's a f4 Benoni, which is like one of the most critical ways to play. And rather than bishop b5, we're playing this early e5. Knight d7 is Polugaevsky's move. Now we have knight b5 or we have knight e4, both of which transpose. Basically in this position, we can take, but then they give a check, and we get this transposition, which is the same here. They give a check, and we get this transposition. And in this position, d6 was Polugaevsky's game. Knight f3 is the new main line. And this makes sense as the new main line. I'll make a quick note. New main line makes sense since knight c6 is impossible. Because yeah, the point is that on d6, well, after we move the king and we develop one, now we have the move knight c6, which is Polugaevsky's move. And it's very easy because all we need to do is shut out these pieces. We can play knight b6, kick this guy back. The knight can try come in, but then we just kick out the bishop. And this is how the game with Polugaevsky went, I'm pretty sure. The only thing I'm wondering now is, like, can't this happen? How did the game actually go? When knight c6? They went knight e5. What if they went knight g5? Because knight e5 makes sense how it doesn't really work. Like, you just take and then play c4 and then yeah, these pawns are actually very loose, right? But had they played knight g5, c4 again, and f5. Okay, nice. Now these pawns are very solid. We get this protected passer. As long as we're not getting mated, that's fine. And you see these knights are just doing bits. Like, they're just completely dominating this queen. Everything is just covered. Probably we play h6. Yeah, h6 is like the next move in all of these lines. Yeah, we're completely winning. So yeah, let's go back to the memory test. So yeah, instead of d6, knight f3 is much more critical. And in this position, yeah, just like earlier, whenever we get the chance to play rook e8 and just castle, that is exactly what we want to do. Let's turn off the engine. We haven't looked at f5 yet, but if they take, which is the much more common move, we were now taking on e5, and when they take back, we have this really clean move, king f8, because this is much more precise, because now on bishop b5, we actually can take with the rook. And was bishop e5 even the move here? Maybe I'm missing a move. Oh, they have. What am I missing? Oh, at this moment, yeah, they can't play this because of this. Okay, and this is just over. Bishop e2, and now we can take either way, bishop or rook. Doesn't really matter. But in this position, on knight takes, yeah, bishop b5 now, knight here, and now takes, and now here, and now castles, and now rook takes. And this was the moment where I think it was bishop f4 and rook f5 was the idea. They give a check and they double up pawns. And this position is just interesting. And to be honest, yeah, this is what I was saying about the Jan Marcos point that, like, you know, these weak pawn structures, it matters less when there are no knights because, you know, knights are really good at sinking their teeth into, like, these weak squares. And here there are no knights. So it means that, yeah, we can just develop and do all right. I mean, like, I see, like, progression for these pieces. Like, maybe we can even play like this and brings the rook in. And I feel like I don't see the double pawns being such a problem, to be honest. So yeah, maybe this should be a test position to play out. So I'll make a note of this, actually. I'll write test position number 1. Maybe we can play these positions out another time. But okay, thank you, Lev Polugaevsky, for showing us this line. And okay, now we've learned something new. Like, this is really, really nice. So okay, let's take a look at the next game. Let's go. We've got another 20 minutes, so we should be able to take a look at least one more game before the end of the stream. So let's look at Polugaevsky Pfeiffer. What a name. Let's have a look. Okay, so first of all, we'll take a look with our engine. Oh, what the hell is this? Okay, this is always really ugly. And I know that black is just completely fine here, but I'm also actually curious to see how Polugaevsky plays. Because I have huge admiration for this man. So let's see how he plays. So he just develops everything. And he routes the bishop round. That's actually super cool. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's actually really nice. Also, I'm curious, why did the name pop up for this game and then not pop up for this game? Did I do something different? I don't know what I did differently, but okay. For some reason, the name doesn't show up. So this is actually this is let me change the name then. This is Benoni f4 lion with early e5 push. This is Benoni d takes e6, and I think like this idea. I'm gonna give some exclams to this because this is actually really cool. In order to get the bishop to a better square. Wow, even plays bishop f5 here. That's surprising. I'm surprised like this isn't a good move to just like. I know like you lose the fianchetto bishop, but. So Lev takes these doubled pawns, but has some concrete idea in mind. Wow, and this whole time you're not able to grab this pawn, ever? Am I missing something here? Maybe this knight is just really... I don't know. Yeah, well, like, what do we do in this position? Maybe we can just play like rook b3 or something, and this is going to be annoying. Let's check that out as well. But what ends up happening? So, oh, he even sacks the exchange and just gets his passed pawn. Brilliant, and just plays with the two bishops against the rook. And even forces resignation here. Wow, what a game! What a game! Some really nice dynamic moves there. But let's check it out with an engine, see how clean this was. Yeah, so normally in the past I would have just played d5 immediately here. Interesting that Polugaevsky like prioritizes a little bit more king safety before pushing d5. I mean, you're going to be able to play d5 anyway. I don't think he can stop it, so I think that's fine. He goes for d5, knight c6, castles. Yeah, and this is what I seem to remember. I remember looking at this a long time ago, and black seems to like d4. But, yeah, black instead goes to king h8. Okay, C-round Sasara. Good luck for your test. So bishop d7, and yeah, I really like this plan. Really cool idea. I think this is going to be how I play it in future. And actually, what if, in this position, bishop h3 is played now? I guess bishop h3 is then... quite awkward. Even this e5 idea. And what we take with the queen, yeah, because there's no piece that can attack it. This looks pretty decent. I mean, this is an isolated pawn though. But it also feels like quite a strong pawn that can thrust forward, and I feel like there's going to be pressure on white. I can believe that this is decent. And also, I really like how black has played this prophylactic king h8 as well, just to avoid any down the line, you know, annoyingness when the center eventually opens up a bit. So, yeah, a good theme to know. A good theme to know. I want to take a look at another Benoni game. I mean, this is like really rarely seen. Like I don't see this d takes e6 line at all, and I think there are just so many ways you can play it. I think. It's not so critical to look into it any further. Let's take a look at another game. Oh, this is a nice short game. So let's have a look. Can you possibly share these games as I started to play Benoni as well? Okay, sure, Safsara, I can add you. Safsara. Oh, so is this the point you got banned by Lichess? That's actually wild, man. Let's see. Let's see the proof. Oh, interesting. Man, well, I don't know what you guys are doing. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? How are you guys getting banned on Lichess? Like, what are you doing? Right. So we get another f4 game. And it's really cool to see that even back in the day, like white was playing the most engine critical lines. Also, hi Gene to the chat. Sorry for not giving you a shout out earlier. I didn't catch your message. Knight of d7. Yep, this was the critical. And bishop d3. Let's see if I remember what to do here. I think the rule was on this bishop g4, bishop d3, which is so funny that this was played. How long ago was this played? This was played in 1959, and this has been rebranded to be like a modern kind of idea in this repertoire. So that's just hilarious. Actually, how this is actually like 60 years old, and just new content creators are just regurgitating this. But what I believe is the point is that we can't play a3, a6, b5 because they can just play a4 here. And this is the moment where we need to play the move queen h4. Queen h4 is the main move, and on g3 we go queen e7, and we keep this pin. Now, players play this move knight f3. And this is the idea. If black castles, I remember that the problem was that white castles. And I think when black tries to move the knight out of the way to try and play for bishop g4, if I remember correctly, I think there's some terrible move f5 here. Yes, I remember correctly. This is like some super... Okay, maybe this is like the modern theory which I remember. And this is super annoying. And there's like, it's like some critical line, and, white knows like 100 moves of theory and just completely demolishes you, right? But this is the point. After queen h4, g3, queen e7, it's very interesting. Because after knight f3, you can actually finesse the move order here and play knight b6 now. Now, the point being is that this f5 move makes absolutely no sense, and if some white players tried to understand this and not understood this position correctly, well then, I'm pretty sure we've just got bishop f5. Is bishop f5 just completely winning here? Yeah, because they can't take because of this, right? So in this position after knight b6, they need to castle, and then the point is we can play bishop g4. We're in time to get in bishop g4 before f5, and then we're completely fine. And this is the point. And the last thing I want to check is what happens if they play h3 here. h3 is going to be a bit of an annoying move, for sure. But at least they can't play their critical line. So if we just play castles, and what if... they can't castle here. Because then they drop this pawn. So this is already a bit awkward for them. Yeah. Okay, so I'm really glad I still have my memory about this line. Yeah, honestly, Tricky and Sassaro both getting banned. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, are they so bored that they have to mess around with Stockfish? It's just I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I mean, I can keep giving them all the. Okay, in fairness, this is the first time Safsara has been banned, so I don't know, maybe I should be more generous, but it's just leeches don't ban people for no reason. I've literally joined meetings with Leechess's anti-cheat team, and I know how the anti-cheat system works, and I know that they're not going to ban people for no reason, right? So it's I got nothing. Hi, can you do a lesson on Leechess for subscribers only? That's a cool idea, Rakesh. I mean, the thing is, I'm a chess coach by profession, and Rakesh, if I start just giving chess lessons for free on stream, then I kind of lose my business, right? Because if my students are if I can get these lessons for free, then why am I going to pay? So, the compromise is that I train on stream, I train for myself, and hopefully you learn something as well. But ultimately, this is for myself. And if you're interested in lessons, I do have a Patreon that you can look into. You can also DM me. We can discuss. I mean, yeah, chess coaching is what I've been doing for 7 years, and I feel like I'm good at it. So, yeah, maybe one day if I'm super rich and I don't need to make money anymore, then yeah, I'll give free lessons for everyone. Why not? But yeah, right now I got to pay my bills as well. But yeah, so actually this line I seem to remember really, really well. I'm quite proud of myself for remembering all of those details. And that's why it's very important that you have understanding behind your lines. And yeah, this line looks really awkward for Polugaevsky. And King D1. I guess the problem is he can't castle because of C4, right? But what is he doing? What is bro doing playing Queen C2 here? Is all of this like super necessary? Because here, like, you know, if he's not playing Queen C2 now to defend B2, why isn't it? I guarantee that... Oh, because this is already a threat. Huh, that's interesting. So maybe there is some point behind this Queen B6 line. I don't know, it just looks really dodgy to me. Let's turn on an engine and find out. Queen here, Queen B6, yeah, right? Like, the engine's definitely not approving of it, but at least you stop them castling kingside. Or do you? Yeah, it looks like you can just play Bishop C2 and castle. Like I don't know what this guy's doing. Like, playing King D1 is just ridiculous. Like, that's like an absolute last resort. But I guess, I mean, if you're playing like a player like Polugaevsky, you're going to have some nerves. And maybe you start to see some ghosts and you play a move like this and give up your whole advantage. Like, fair enough. But yeah, the problem is when you play with a king in the center, that king is never going to be safe. And as soon as things get messy, like, that king is going to be like a huge target. And look, Polugaevsky even sacrificing the queen for huge compensation and wins the game. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. So this is actually this is a line Benoni f4 Benoni f4 line with bishop b5, bishop d3. Yeah, and okay, we remembered how to deal with it. So that's really good. Okay, let's do one more game. So we've got through 3 games so far. So let's take a look at another one. Oh, we've even got some annotations here. They're in French, so I'm not even gonna try. I mean, maybe if Frizz joins the stream right now, then maybe he'll be able to give us some insight. Welcome OSB to the stream. Lucky that Leeches doesn't ban people with multiple accounts. Yeah, okay, then maybe I'd be in trouble. That's true. But at the same time, you know, I'm not making multiple accounts to cheat the system and play against myself or something, which used to be the real problem with multi-accounting. I mean, nowadays, like, they really get on top of that, and my multiple accounts are purely for study purposes. So, you know, I hope Leeches will have mercy on my soul. OSB, welcome to the stream. We're taking a look at the infamous Polugaevsky, because Polugaevsky basically, I gave this a better explanation in the start of the stream, but, you know, the guy had great analysis. Like, he really trained a lot on chess, and that is why we're checking out his games from the 1950s even, just to understand and appreciate, how he played the Benoni, and, like, if we get any insights into how to play. Like, we already learned one thing already about how to play a certain position. Speaking of which, I want to do another memory test. Let's do another memory test to see if I can still remember. Because if I've forgotten already, then that's a very bad sign. So let's have a look at this line. So this was in the f4 Benoni. Bishop g7 and e5. So here, Polugaevsky's line was to play knight fd7. This now provokes this response from white. And actually, one thing I want to check is what happens if they take. I didn't check this, but I assumed this had to be good. So yeah, indeed, we just castle. Maybe I should have forced myself to find this. And it looks like these pawns are going to drop. Okay, good to know. So knight fd7, knight b5 is the main move. Knight e4 is just a transposition because we get to the same position here. So this is a transposition. So we get this. And in this position, knight f3 was one move, d6 was another. And d6 was the game of Polugaevsky, which prevents rook e8. But the problem for white is now we get knight c6. And white can try and get active with some play on f7, but then we had knight b6. We kick to the knight. And yeah, the problem with knight g5 was we can kick and play f5, and this was just much better for black. And if they played knight here, we could go takes, c4, and I believe that these pawns were dropping as well. I mean, I think Polugaevsky played queen f5 and got a good game. So this was the old line with d6, but the new line is to play knight f3 when we can't play knight e6, but our rule is whenever white plays something other than this, like any slow move, we can play rook e8. This is the point. And start to manually castle. And in this position, I believe knight takes was an idea, and we want to play king f8. And then I think maybe bishop b5. I need to get this right. Rook e8 was definitely right. That's working. Or maybe it was bishop by b5 here. That was definitely something. Yeah, this moment. But here I don't actually understand. Can't we already do this? This has definitely gone wrong. What have I forgotten here? King f8. In this position, bishop b5 is not the move. What's the move here? Actually, already I'm doing good here. So knight e5 is the mistake. Bishop e5 is the main move. Sorry. Bishop e5 is the main move. Yeah, because here I'm just doing really well. Right? And actually that means I don't have to worry about like my memory being wrong in this position because I'm already better. Right? Like bishop e5 would just be a mistake. They're not going to play that. So bishop e5 was the move. And the point was I still play king f8. Yeah, and they take with the pawn. No, this is not the case. I think I know what I'm doing wrong. In this position, sorry, they're taking with the pawn here. And this is where I'm taking with the knight. Then they go... If knight takes, then king f8, and this is just really good for me. So in this position, they play bishop b5. Is this right? I'm definitely getting this wrong. Okay, let's check. Let's check. I'm making too many mistakes here. So let's understand. So knight f3, rook e8 was correct. F e5. Now let's also take a look at knight takes e5, and let's also take a look at bishop e5, because these were all moves that were confusing me, and yeah, I want to get clear. But if pawn takes, then knight e5, and here if knight takes, then king f8 was just really good. I'm pretty sure. Let's check with an engine. So rook e8, if pawn e5, knight e5, and if knight e5, king f8, it's really good. And if bishop b5 here, knight d7, knight e5, king f8. Yeah, we just block knight d7, right? Why was I panicking about this position? Yeah, and we just go king f8 now, and then we take with the rook, and this was the line where we get this, yeah. Okay, so just to be clear then, in this position, f e5, aside from f5, which we still need to look at, but I feel like it's kind of its own thing, which I don't think we need to look so greatly in, right? Like, yeah, we can play with king f8, that's simple enough. That's just simple enough. So if knight takes e5 here, well then I guess maybe... Oh, and queen f5. King f8 is also fine, so that's good enough. I mean, if they can't play e6, we can just take... Seems decent enough. And bishop e5 here. Again, this is possible. And if takes... Yeah, we can also play this a6 as well. Let's not forget that. a6 looks really decent. And then take afterwards. Yeah, I think this is fine. So this new main line, we had some memory issues, but eventually this will stick, I think. I mean, it's all to do with like trying to play rook e8 and king f8, and just calculating carefully. I think I'd be fine to get this, even if I forgot at this moment. I think I'd be all right. Okay, so we got one final game. This was the annotated French game. So let's take a very, very brief look at this, and then probably we'll call it a day. So, he plays g3 here. Okay, fair enough. Let's see how Polugaevsky handled this. Castles. And in this position, rook e8 is indeed the engine top move. So what a guy playing the engine main line here. And yeah, in this position, I guess that's the annotation. Knight d2, bishop f4. These are like the main moves. a4 as well, the waiting move. So I've got all of these moves in like my repertoire. But knight e1, that's an interesting one. Knight d7, let's see how Polugaevsky destroyed the guy for doing this. Rook b8, b3. b3 is an interesting line, but there is logic. The idea is to put the bishop on b2, and you kind of set up this formation that ideally prevents black from breaking through. And I actually had a game recently, a training game, where this happened. And it was difficult for me to make progress. I played b5, we took, and when I played c4, he played b4, and kind of locked this up. So it's an interesting way to play. But let's see how Polugaevsky handled it. Yeah, so this is exactly the situation I got. But here Polugaevsky is just building up this position without pushing c4 so quickly. Should we Google translate this? Let's find out what this is. Translate from French. Recognizing that knight e1 was not very happy, but the waste of time becomes sensitive. Okay, fair enough. Bishop f5. Right, and there's no time for e4. Is there not? I was thinking we could take him and take on e4, but revealing the rook. But the thing is, if we take, we can take with the bishop that defends e4. So what's the point? Why can't they go e4? Ah, we can take him and take on h3. Right, so that's not possible. So bishop f5, queen c1, knight f3. Okay, we have to take with the pawn. c4 now, b4 is the point. But here, maybe we've got a bit more to play on. Right, we've got the square on d3. Yeah, we've even got tactics like this. Yeah, and this is just winning a pawn, and yeah, some silky tactics to finish. I mean, like, look at this stuff. Yeah, so this is actually very nice to see how he handled this. So what can we learn from this? I mean, knight e1 is never going to be played, but yeah, rather than push c4 immediately, Polu provokes weaknesses in white camp, so that when c4 comes, it comes much stronger. Yeah, so this is what we can understand. So basically, just creating some provocative moves, and yeah, this is now c4 is much stronger. So yeah, really nice delay to play c4, but yeah, this is nice. Oh man, the temptation to just keep going and just have a look at all of these. I mean, the problem is I have to sleep. I've got a coach to catch tomorrow. So maybe actually, okay. You know what? That's a genius idea. Okay, let's save this as Benoni. The timing. Yeah, the timing of c4. So this was a nice game to see. And I'll draw a line, and I'll put next time. And I'll put let me just copy all of these games now. So we'll get this game against Munoz. So we'll have a look at this. We'll also have a look at this game. We'll also have a look at this one. And then we'll have a look at this game as well. And okay, we could look at the games that Polugaevsky loses as well. Maybe we just have a very quick glance right now. Like, how did... So, I mean, Polugaevsky won every single game except for one, so... and he gets a Knight's Tour variation. And this is why in this position on Knight d2, Knight d7 is a really nice way to play. Because basically on Knight c4, we can play Knight b6. And this is quite annoying because white doesn't have Knight e3 yet because the pawn isn't on e4. So this is one way to play. But let's have a quick look how he lost this. So yeah, this is some really critical line. Fair enough, though. He's played this in a really sweet way. I really like how he's handled this. Damn, what a game! Looks like a really fiery one. So definitely not just like getting crushed or something. But yeah, in the end, doesn't have enough. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, okay. I think, guys, on that note, I'll save these games for another time. We studied four Benoni games today. We will study another four a bit later. 2301, was that the guy's rating or something? What's 2301? But yeah, in any case, one disclaimer I want to add is that Wednesday I will not be able to stream. I am checking out the Cameron Highlands these next few days. So no stream from me. No stream from me this Wednesday. I'll try and make an announcement on YouTube. But then back to usual on Friday. And yeah, hopefully we will check out these Benoni games from Polugaevsky. Yeah, really enjoyed checking this out. And you know what? One final memory test of let's see if we can get that new main line completely done and dusted. Let's see if we can get it completely right. This is how we did space repetition before space repetition was a thing. So e5 here, we play knight f7, Polugaevsky's line, this critical knight b5, check takes, and here d6 was the old line, knight f3 is the new line, and here we're playing rook e8. This is what we want to do, because we want a castle. And in this position, pawn takes was the move, knight takes was the move, bishop b5 hitting the rook, we simply blocked, and then they took, but then we have king f8. And now we're doing pretty fine, because we can play rook takes, bishop f4, and then we've got this cool move, and we get this very, very interesting dynamic equality, which I think I would fancy playing. I mean, probably I should practice this and train this against some opponents, but yeah, if this is the most critical position that white can play, I'm pretty happy. And that night, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day. So thank you guys for tuning in. Josh, I didn't really understand your comment. Lucas, I look forward to seeing that Nightmare on the Nights tour at some point. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. So see you guys on Friday. There will be no stream on Wednesday. And yeah, see you guys around. Adios.